So, today is the day where we make predictions, we watch a pay-per-view, we see that I win, we make another video commemorating me for my win, and then, hey, come on, we're trying to do a cool video. And then we take the throne. Maybe a belt, maybe something for this guy. But once again, I will win. Sorry guys, it's happening. It's gonna be a thing. There might be some issues about that, but that's not really my problem. Y'all are just gonna have to make the better predictions. Now, I'm recording this prior to y'all's recording because I will be elsewhere. Wondering where? Certain ladies can check their DMs, and certain ladies already know where. Guys, if your girl tells you, hey, I'm gonna go to bed at 8 p.m., well, let's just say there ain't gonna be any sleeping. But anyways, let me get going, starting first with our buy-in matches. We got Statlander versus Layla Hirsch. I gotta pick Layla Hirsch in this. I mean, Statlander's kind of been dominating her. She's won multiple times against Hirsch, and it doesn't really hurt Statlander to lose, considering that she's, in a pretty solid faction with the best friends. Layla Hirsch needs a push more so than she does now, just to get some relevancy. As mean as that might sound, but you know what? It may be time for the legit one to take a W here. Hook versus QT Marshall. Hook, we can move on from there. but seriously, the guy's been doing amazing, and while QT is not exactly your best person to start putting people over, I mean, it's kind of a giveaway when it's against QT. It's still valid enough and a little bit of a push, like enough of a push to keep validating Hook as a legitimate competitor and an up-and-comer. First thing on my list, now, you're going to probably have to splice these around, Lip, just because I don't know what the hell the order is going to be as far as the match card goes. But the first thing on my list is going to be our Battle Royale with Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Ricky Starks, Willie Hobbs in his hot Cheeto attire, Wardlow, and either Christian or Ethan Page, because we are recording this before, or I'm recording this before Rampage starts. It's been really hard to pick between Keith Lee or Wardlow. Keith Lee's been getting screen time and pushed to high heaven, especially with his little feud with Starks and Will Hobbs. However, Wardlow has been a consistently dominant force and actually has some story time going. If he wins and MJF loses, then he's got something to hold over MJF, especially if he ends up becoming TNT champion. Also, if Keith Lee wins, then I mean the next step is for him to go up against Sammy Guevara, clearly. So I don't know. It really depends on if they're pulling the trigger that hard on Keith Lee. But Keith Lee's not losing anything if he loses this, especially because he's still in a feud with FTW with Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs. I can see Keith Lee taking that FTW title from Starks. So, for story purposes, I'm going to have to go with Wardlow. And it sucks we can only pick one person. If we can pick more than one person, I'd say Keith Lee and Wardlow. But I'm going to stick with Wardlow. Next match, Andrade, Isaiah, and Matt Hardy of the AHFO versus Sting, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara. And I'm sorry to say it, man, but this is going to be my bathroom match because we already know damn well Sting, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara are taking this one home. And you know what? We might just see this, the collapse of the AHFO here. Because we're getting Jeff Hardy pretty soon. I imagine we are. And you got to see Matt start to dissolve or get away from the AHFO. And then partner up with his brother. Probably for like one last run. Explanations of that aside, the next match for me, I would say Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. It does absolutely nothing to have Moxley lose here. Like he can take the loss over Bryan Danielson right now, and seeing a Moxley that, whether it be reluctant or not, accepts a Bryan Danielson that has beat him and bled with him, there's going to be at least a respect amongst that duo, who I can see then taking younger talent, not taking, but I mean having them join their faction, and honestly just running through a couple of things. So yeah, I'm picking Danielson to win this. Following that on my list, I've got Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho. Eddie's got to get the W here. Like in all the promos we've been hearing about how he's been coming up short here, there, whatever. It's got to be Kingston. He's got to beat Jericho because honestly, Jericho doesn't lose shit if he loses here. Like his career is cemented. He's always going to be that demo god. I don't think we're ever going to get the eye roll whenever he shows up. Mainly because, fuck, it's Chris Jericho. And there's always going to be a part of us curious about what the hell's going on next with him. Also, I really want to see the drama unfold where Santana and Ortiz probably split off and join Kingston, which may lead to the dissolution of... that's going to be really interesting to see. But anyways, once again, Eddie Kingston. Oof. We got Jade Cargill versus Ty Conti. And while I'm sorry to say it, it's too early for Jade to lose her undefeated streak. Ty Conti is a hell of a woman, hell of a competitor, but might be a little early to put a belt on her. And like I said, Jay's undefeated streak needs to be lost to somebody big. Maybe Britt Baker. Depends on how that night goes. But yeah. The Storm. Jade Cargill. After that, I'm looking at Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks and Red Dragon. Red Dragon. But this may be the surprise one for a couple of y'all, because I am a fan of the Elite, the Bucks. I'm a fan of the Undisputed Era. But I see Jurassic Express taking the W here. Like, they've only had the titles a couple months. They haven't really... I mean, look, they haven't really had that huge victory aside from their championship one. And I know we all thought these belts were going to be flying off them sooner than later, but it really doesn't help for either Red Dragon or the Bucks to get the belt because they're already tied up in their own little conflict with each other with Adam Cole, and eventually we'll insert faction name here and the Elite. There's a story to tell there. You don't really need to involve the belts with it to keep telling that story. And honestly, I really want to see Santana and Ortiz take those belts. And what better tag team to take them from than, well, Jurassic Express. So they get to hold on to them probably till Double or Nothing. Following that, Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. Now, if y'all been listening to me at all and who I've been pushing for, then you should already know that Thunder Rosa is taking this. Like, Britt has had a fantastic run. However, nah, I don't think she needs to hold on to it any longer. I think it'll continue to add to the story between her and Thunder Rosa, assuming they continue anything. There may be some shenanigans to add to some conflict in Britt Baker's camp. And hey, she could always just take some time off too. But yeah, Thunder Rosa is definitely taking this one in my book. And finally, we got the Hangman, sorry, old habits, BTE, versus Adam Cole, baby. This one I had to think about for a little bit, but considering that they actually follow the unwritten rule of, whoever gets the domination or the advantage prior to the pay-per-view actually, loses. I honestly see Hangman Page keeping this one. Again, Adam Cole has a huge story that's doing a slow burn with Red Dragon and the Bucks / the Elite. There's no reason to take the belt off Hangman yet, especially because you maybe have been looking for like a solidifying match for Hangman, like to validate him as a champion. And you know what? Cole, I don't think is going anywhere for a while. He will hold that belt, but not at Revolution. So yeah, there are my picks. May the best best man win. And if things are on my side, which they probably are, I'll be sitting in my throne over there come this week, waiting to talk all the shit in our next episode.